What have you liked so far about this group? I know they're young, obviously, but what have you liked just about the team early?
Well, I think they're excited to be at the rink. I think as a coach, you want guys that are passionate about being at the rink, and so you can feel that youthful energy and excitement about practicing and being in the weight room. And obviously, they're here. They want to play games, and so we're really looking forward to the weekend.
What have you enjoyed too with the freshmen? I know you have 11 freshmen. Is that typical for you the last few years, or is that a little more?
It'd be a little more. Maybe after our first year, I think our second year we had quite a few new guys, right? And so we got 13 total new guys, 11 freshmen. I think that's the reality. We had 3 guys sign early and leave, so you got three spots right there. You got to fill outside of the normal size of class. So I think that's the new reality of college athletics and college hockey specifically. And our job is to go out and try to find the right guys that are ready to step in and help us be a good hockey team.
Coming off the success of last season of winning the Big Ten tournament, all that stuff, how have you seen the upperclassmen to really push the underclassmen now this year?
Yeah, I think we're fortunate. We got a great leadership group, and led by Matt Bazgal, and he's been here. Bazzy and Danny Russell and Tiernan Shouty have been here since we got here, right? So they understand how we want to do things, and our guys got here early July, and that's what that time of the year is really about. Is obviously we're training, we're trying to get stronger and faster and bigger and all those different things, and but it's also establishing our culture, right? And we can do it as a staff, and we do it every single day to try to reinforce it, but we're not in the locker room every second. We're not on the airplane. We're not on the bus, and we're not back in the apartment. So I think having strong leadership to make sure we're having the right time conversations so guys really understand what it means to play hockey at Michigan State.
With Matt being the captain for this group this year, right away when he came in as a freshman, did you know he had those leadership skills, or has he grown into that?
Well, I think he always has been a leader in different spots he's been, and you could tell he's got a serious side to him and a committed side to him, but he's also able to connect with his teammates. And I think the biggest thing you're looking for, a couple things, right, in a leader is, are they genuine and authentic, right? If you're an up and down person, it's going to be hard to be a leader. And I think Bazzy does a really good job of being consistent. We've had some tough moments here as a program since we've been here. We've had some great moments, and Bazzy's found a way to stay even keel. I think that's important for our team, especially when you're talking about a lot of new guys. Is not every night's going to go our way, and we hope it does. But it's about the next game and the next shift, and I think Bazzy really understands that.
What do you like about this group, and what makes them unique versus the previous 3 years that you've been here?
I think that it's a smart group, and I think it's hard to teach smarts in hockey, right? You can try to help guys with it, and we through video and reps and practice, but I think the hockey IQ of the group is really high, and I really like the competitiveness of it. I think that you look up and down our lineup. We got guys that aren't in the lineup that are ultra competitive, that are smart players, and I think that helps the whole group grow. Talk about practice. So I think that side of it, and I think that just the potential of the group, right? And we got to make sure. I think potential is a word that gets thrown around, and if you don't reach it, that becomes an insult, right? So you got to make sure that potential never becomes an insult.
It seems like, obviously you guys were picked to win the Big Ten, and how do you keep this team even keel, or is that sort of something they do on their own?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it since we got here, right? We're not really concerned about rankings or what people, think of us. We care about getting better, right? And you got to fight complacency. You talk about stunting development of a team. That's one of them. And there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of landmines out there between social media and buddies, friends, families, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, all people that care about you. But also, you got to tune out noise. And you look at this group, we literally haven't done anything yet. And so we got a lot to prove. But also maintaining our foundation of what we are as a program. And we're a team first program, and we're not interested in stealing games. We want to go out and earn games, and that's the goal come this weekend.
I feel like that ranking came because of the talent people view on this roster. Obviously, there's a lot of draft picks. With freshman with Caden, start with him, Lidstrom. What have you liked about him so far early in his time here?
Yeah, he's a super committed kid. He's coming off an injury, so it'll take him some time, but he's very committed. And you watch him in the weight room in his preparation. You watch him practice. He's a very athletic player and explosive player, and I really love his fire that he has. And our job and his job is to harness that in the right way, and which he already has shown that he's going to do. And but I think he's just, again, a young player that's just scratching the surface.
Moving around the net, trying to find open area, goes in, and he has scored.
And for Porter, he obviously introduced himself to the fan base pretty early in the exhibition. What have you liked about him, obviously being a freshman as well?
Yeah, he's kind of a hockey player, right? He's smart. He's got a good stick. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there, and I think for him, just acclimating to the pace of the game, right? I think it's that's one thing with college hockey. When you're playing fewer games, the pace is high, and so this will be great for his development. That's an area he knows he needs to improve to be the player he dreams about being. But he's a great teammate. He's all in on Michigan State, and he's off to a great start.
Being able to get players from the Canadian League, how do you think that can help grow the college hockey game, especially Big Ten?
Yeah, there's at the end of the day, it's about 1,600 more players that are eligible to play college hockey. And I think that not all the guys are going to want to do it, or all of them are good enough to do it. And maybe it's not the best path for them, but we think it's a really good option for these kids that are maybe not ready to play in the NHL and need another year to grow their body. And I also think the environment in college, where you're not living with a family, right? You're a little bit more on your own. You got to do a little bit of cooking on your own. You got to do your laundry on your own, and reps of just interacting in the community, and I think there's so many positives outside of just, obviously your degree is an unbelievable thing, but just the life skills you learn at a university, I think it can set these guys up when they do turn pro.
Last one I got for you. You talked before the season started about some scars maybe of last season. Obviously, when you look around, there's a lot of banners and celebrations from last year, but I guess how does last year's result and how it ended, how is that motivating, especially the coaching staff or returning guys?
For sure. No, I think it's important for our guys. You can never forget where we were, right, and where we've worked hard to try to get our program back going. And I've talked to our guys about that. A lot of these guys are going to come into Munn. The new guys, we've got 13 new guys, and see Munn full. Well, that wasn't the case, right? And so, and I don't believe in giving away tickets. I think it's our responsibility to earn a crowd. And when we go out and play, again, we're not going to win every game, but we are going to play our best, and we're going to play our hardest, and we're going to play as a team. And but I think scars are a good thing too, right? I think that because it's a very vivid memory of what happened and why it happened. And if you're humble enough to say, okay, those are things that we got to do better, and it's an opportunity to grow forward.